After years of frustration, Lori Mazzone found a way to reclaim her high school figure. It helped her lose 11 pounds in just 3 weeks, followed by another 7, and she's not done.
I lost 4 inches off my waist. 4 inches in a month is unbelievable. I had not seen that kind of result in anything that I've done.
Lori balanced her hormones under the direction of gynecologist Sarah Gottfried, who lost 25 pounds when she first tried it on herself.
I started to share it with women in my practice, and the results were amazing. So women lost on average about 15 pounds. They dropped their blood sugar by 21 points. They lost 4 inches off their waist. We now have had 5,000 people go through this program.
If one or more of 7 key hormones is out of whack, forget about losing weight. But the good news is we can balance them with our fork. Specific foods can disrupt hormone levels. That can be fixed by avoiding the disruptive food for at least 3 days. In her book, The Hormone Reset Diet, Dr. Gottfried lays out a 21-day plan for 7 weight-related hormones.
It was gradual. It wasn't like a shock to my system. It wasn't like, oh, okay, now you're off of all these foods at once, and it wasn't overwhelming. It was done in small little bits and pieces.
Starting with red meat and alcohol, which can raise estrogen.
Estrogen is what makes us feminine. It gives us breasts and hips. But when it's out of whack, when it's too high relative to progesterone, it's going to make you have weight loss resistance. You're not going to be able to lose weight no matter what.
There are substitutes.
When I would come home at night, I would get a wine glass and I would just fill it with seltzer and apple cider vinegar. I felt like I was drinking wine.
The next 3 days, add fruit to the off-limits list to reset leptin.
It's the satiety hormone, and that means it controls your hunger.
Then give up caffeine, which disrupts cortisol.
Cortisol is the main stress hormone. And when it's too high, it grows this muffin top. It just gives you belly fat that you can't get rid of.
So once I've come off the caffeine, I was sleeping like a baby.
Thyroid levels that are too high or too low can cause problems.
Some of the common symptoms are thinning hair, weight gain, typically 10, 20 pounds, fatigue, depression.
Eliminate grains to reset your thyroid.
I grew up in an Italian family and they serve you like a half a pound of pasta. So I was dying. How am I going to do that?
She did it by eating pasta substitutes like spaghetti squash or shirataki noodles. Next, avoid sweets to balance insulin.
The sugar cravings were completely gone after 4 days. And I was really addicted to sugar.
Abstain from milk products to reset your growth hormone.
Dairy, I thought would be hard for me because I like cheese so much. But I replaced it with hummus and I was fine. I didn't even miss it.
Finally, avoid environmental toxins like plastic and certain cosmetics to balance testosterone.
The average woman puts on about 515 synthetic chemicals every day on her skin.
After you've reset your hormones, you don't necessarily have to avoid these things forever. Every 3 days, add one back and see how your body responds, because everyone's different.
And then you feel like a blank canvas. And you're like, you've gotten rid of all these foods and you feel so great. And then you get to bring them back and see what happens, and that's kind of interesting.
When Lori resumed eating red meat, there was no change, so it's still on the menu. Dairy, however, brought a different result. She gained 5 pounds in just 3 days, a clear sign to stay away.
I felt like I was doing a science project on myself.
That was just the beginning.
I missed my caffeine, I thought. So I had a cup of coffee, and that night I didn't sleep. And that was it. I just never had it again.
So for women, hormones often dictate whether the body will burn fat or hold on to it. By replacing disruptive foods with healthy substitutions, we gain another weapon in the battle of the bulge. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Well, our health reporter Laurie Johnson is joining us now with more advice. Laurie, you are loaded with advice, and you've got goodies here in front of us, so you want to start telling us what you've laid out.
That's right. Well, the main question I get asked when I do reports on this and other diets is what's left to eat if we can't eat all that, the grains and the dairy, what else is left? Okay. And the main thing is vegetables. On this diet, as well as so many others, try to eat 1 pound of vegetables a day. That is 1 pound. That's a pound. That's not really that hard to do because you can sneak vegetables into your foods.
Broccoli,
for example,
carrots.
These brownies are made with vegetables, sweet potatoes, and they're delicious.
This is not chocolate.
They're made
fattening?
with no, they're sweetened with sweet potatoes, and they have that wonderful dark chocolate, which, as you know, is an antioxidant.
Right.
Seafood is also a great diet menu item. These are crab cakes. Crabs are very high in the omega-3 fats that are good for your brain, good for your heart.
Well, the fact that they're fried doesn't make any difference. Huh?
You know what I fried them in? Coconut oil.
Hey,
you
we got
know,
it.
every time I'm on the show, I got to plug coconut oil. Now, of course, crab can be expensive, and sometimes it's out of season. So salmon, canned salmon, is a good substitute, and I found that for 97 cents a can. It was on sale, but still, that gives you an idea. Now, here's a great grain substitute. This is called quinoa. This is a quinoa salad, and quinoa is actually a seed. It's not a grain. It's very high in wonderful fats.
This is something the Indians used to eat a lot of.
That's right. It's relatively new on the market, but I did find that quinoa at Walmart, so it is readily available, and it's very easy to make. It's a great rice substitute.
With a Q, by the way.
It is. It's spelled with a Q, and as you can see, I put lots of veggies. Q-U. There, you passed your spelling test today. This has the garbanzo beans, the chickpeas. Beans are so healthy and cheap. It also has tomatoes and the wonderful.
That sounds delicious. How much of that stuff do you eat?
How much do I eat? I eat it all the time.
You do?
Oh, yeah. That has avocados, which are the healthy fats, and the cucumbers.
And that's going to reset a woman's hormones so that she'll lose weight eating this stuff.
That's right. That's right. Now, here's one of my favorites. It looks like pasta, but it's actually faux pasta. This is actually zucchini instead of pasta.
Does it come from a zucchini squash?
It is. I'm going to show you how I made it. And I did want to say one thing about the pasta sauce. You have to be really careful when you go to the grocery store because there's usually a lot of sugar added to pasta sauces. This particular one does not have any sugar in it, and so there are some others on the market, but not many. So look on the list of ingredients. If it ends in ose, fructose, dextrose, maltose, that's a sugar, not to mention the high fructose corn syrup. But as far as, and also it's great to make your own pasta sauce.
What do they do? You know, that stuff is so loaded with salt and sugar. The average pasta, I mean, the average sauce is just incredible.
Right, it is. It's pretty bad for you. That's why it's a great idea to make it at home. I have my homemade recipe on my Facebook page, as well as the recipes for all these other things, too, and it's really easy. But if you have to buy jarred, look on the ingredients, because every once in a while you can find one that has no sugar and very little salt.
You have a little homemade guillotine that most people would use to chop the end off cigars.
This is called a veggetti because it makes spaghetti out of vegetables.
Stop it. Are you serious?
And all you do is twist it like this.
Look at that.
And then you microwave the zucchini for about a minute or a minute and a half, 2 minutes. And it's a great pasta substitute. Yeah.
Where do you get that little, so that's not for cigars or
I
anything?
got this at Walmart for $12.
My God, they've got everything.
So, yeah, isn't that great? It looks like spaghetti, has the same texture as spaghetti.
And what does it taste like? It's healthy?
It tastes like zucchini.
It tastes like zucchini. It is zucchini. So you cook it in water? And
I cook this. I just put it in the microwave for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
You can cook it other ways, too.
And then you put the healthy sauce on it?
Yeah, right. And so all these recipes are on my Facebook page.
What is that little deal called? It didn't call
this
cigar.
It's called a veggetti. It's easy to remember because it makes spaghetti out of vegetables.
Veggetti. How about that?
Great invention.
You can get it at Walmart.
Yeah, I sure did for $12.
And
this dispels the myth that eating healthy has to be expensive because it doesn't.
This stuff, my mouth waters. I love this kind of food. I mean, really. I mean, and so a woman should eat this like 3 times a day. Is that it?
Right. These are great substitutes for the other things in the piece, which might be a good idea to cut out: the dairy, the grains, the sugar. things
when you
like
say
that.
dairy, you're talking about milk, cream, the whole thing?
You know, dairy is very inflammatory. Now, some people don't have a problem with it, but
Yeah.
others do.
Okay.
And you'll be able to tell if you do this reset and then you bring it back in and see how your body responds to it. I actually don't eat any dairy, and I love it. I feel so good. I didn't
You
think I
do?
could give it up, and I'm so glad I did. Yeah.
Well, what about, you know, people on this gluten-free stuff, they add gluten into it. Gluten does not appear naturally in wheat, but they put gluten into, what is it, a preservative or?
Right, and see, the whole gluten-free
Yeah.
phase is a little misleading because really this particular diet and a lot of other ones say, go a little bit further than the gluten. Go ahead and get rid of all grains.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's still problems with rice and corn, and those are grains, but they're not gluten.
Rice and corn are going to kick off a woman's hormone?
They can. They can really raise your insulin, and insulin
Really?
is a hormone. Yeah,
Okay.
they sure can.
Man, Laura, you have laid it on us. Have you got something in writing so somebody can write in and get a list of all? I'm sure you have.
Absolutely. Go to my
But
go to my
sure, go on.
Facebook page. My Facebook page has all the recipes and a lot more of information, and also a little bit more from Dr. Gottfried about how she got on this, because she's a doctor, but she went to her doctor and said, I feel so bad and I'm overweight. And you know what he did? He put her on an antidepressant.
Oh, man.
And I know.
No.
And so
All right.
she's thinking, hey, I'm a doctor. I should check my hormones, because that doctor never thought to check her hormones, and they were off the charts. And that's how she came up with this book,
Well, how
The
about
Hormone
men? This is
Reset
strictly
Diet.
for women? To men?
Well, a lot of this is about women. Women struggle with their hormones and losing weight because of their hormones more than men, but men certainly do, especially with the insulin, because too much sugar causes a problem with your insulin. And also, men don't get enough sleep, and that causes your cortisol to go up,
Right.
and that causes you to overeat and raises your stress level as well. So,
That's fascinating.
yeah. So the hormone
Well, women
reset
have
diet.
babies, and I don't have babies. And so that means, I mean, they go through these cycles of hormonal change. It's going on all the time. It's
Right.
really tough. Isn't
It really is tough. And ladies, if you are throwing your brush at the mirror, that's a sign that you might have a hormone imbalance. I've been there. A little bit touchy, a little moody there.
Please don't throw your hairbrush at me. Okay. Thank you, Lori. This is Marv. And this is the book this lady
The
wrote.
Hormone Reset Diet.
And Sarah Gottfried, MD. And look at that lovely lady, thin and all that on that cover. This book's available, right?
It is. It's a wonderful book. I highly recommend it.
All right, it's called The Hormone Reset Diet, Dr. Sarah Gottfried. And you've got a piece of paper that somebody can write in or call
Absolutely. Go to my Facebook page and they'll find all this information.
in. Facebook page.
And it should be
All right. And the Facebook page says what?
on
Lori
the
Johnson?
screen.
Huh? That's it. Doesn't it look delicious?
We'll dig in after we go to
I
commercial.
got a cameraman. Where's one of you? Mondo, come here just a minute. Where are you? Where's Mondo? Is he died? Mondo, you still alive? Oh, one of the cameramen, come over here.
Those are the sweet potato
here.
brownies.
I want one of you to try one of these things. Here, you take one. Take one.
Okay.
All right. Tell me what you think of it. All right. What do you think?
Great.
It's great?
Absolutely.
All right.
That's the right answer, David.
Mondo doesn't get one. Mondo's, I guess he's not here today. Okay, so one of the other guys. They love it. Okay, it's passed the cameraman test. All right. Very good. Laura, you're terrific. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right. Well,